CZ has a long history of making quality guns, and people love their double-action pistols, the CZ Scorpion. But Zach, people are loving the P-10, and what is it about these pistols that they're just falling in love with?
Yeah, so normally we have a big following for DASA pistols, but a few years ago we came out with our P-10, which is a striker fire gun, and basically the things that we did different than everybody else that's had a striker fire gun out there, we incorporated things that kind of harken back to the original CZ75. So really good grip, very ergonomic, engineered grip. We have 3 different backstraps, all sorts of stippling, but the standout feature is definitely going to be that trigger. So a very light, crisp trigger that has an audible and tactile reset. It's kind of a departure from what you see on a lot of the striker fire guns that are on the market. It's one of the things that makes this gun definitely stand out, especially new shooters who have a lot of experience. That's the thing that they keep coming back to.
Another thing I noticed, you have several elements in here that help control recoil and shoot faster. Talk about that.
Absolutely. So again, going back to the CZ75, making sure that our recoil impulse and the bore axis agree with fast shooting and being back on target. So getting your hand as close to that bore axis as possible with a high beaver tail and an undercut trigger guard, and also planting your hand there with some very aggressive stippling. It makes it just a joy at the range.
Now you have different options, you have different sizes here, and also options for optics.
So 3 different sizes. We started with a C, which is a compact right in the middle of the road. We have an S, which is more concealed carry oriented. And then we have an F, which is a 19+1 full-size pistol. We also have optic-ready guns. So whereas this one does not have a plate system, the ones you've got in hand do. And so you can fit any of those popular optics that folks are fitting to pistols now. We have a ton of different plates, and you can fit those optics, whether you just train for an optic or maybe your eyes aren't as good as they used to be. It's definitely a great option nowadays.
Well, I can tell you, when we got to the range and I fired it, a lot of other people did, everyone was pleasantly surprised and just loved shooting this gun. When you get to the range and try out a CZ P-10, you're going to discover the same thing.
So I've got 3 guns in front of me. They're actually all the same gun. All right, I've got from CZ USA the P-10 in subcompact, compact, and full size. And a lot of people ask, well, what size gun should I get? I have small hands, so I should get a small gun. That's not the way you should look at it. Subcompact and small guns are for concealment base. Typically, the smaller the gun, the harder, more difficult it is to shoot. But they conceal very nicely. The smaller the gun, the smaller the sight radius. This P-10 has a red dot fitted to it, so I'm not so worried about sight radius. But let's see how it shoots. Typically, smaller guns tend to be a little bit snappier because there's not as much slide weight along the slide. Now, this is the compact, their medium-sized gun. Again, this is still an acceptable gun to carry concealed. Maybe if you're a slightly bigger person, you wear baggier clothes. It gives you a fuller grip length and a longer slide radius, and it should have a little less felt recoil. And then we move into our full-size guns. If you're keeping a gun strictly in your house or in your vehicle, I would strongly recommend getting a full-size gun. Larger magazine capacity, longer grip, longer slide and sight radius. It's going to have even less felt recoil and be even more accurate. So there you have it on what you decide size-wise. Do I get a subcompact, a compact, or a full-size gun? Not base it on your hands, base it on how you're carrying.